Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 4, now out. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the newest episode of Season 2 of the Rings of Power is now upon us. It is out on Amazon Prime for you guys to go and check out right now. And the first 3 episodes of Season 2 had its great moments, and then it's some not so great moments as well. So it was a bit of a mixed bag to start off with, but Season 1 was the same, so it is what it is. But as we move into Episode 4, I was hoping that it might pick up. And to me, I must say, this might be the weakest episode so far of this season. Now, there are multiple reasons why that is, why I believe that. The strongest part of this whole entire episode is the stuff with the elves. With Elrond and how he's leading the mission to try and find, what is going on with the blacksmith, elvish person. How can he help out? What's he going to do? He's been told that this may happen once in his life where this person's life is in his hands. So he's got to go fix all this. To me, that was all, the best stuff. I really enjoyed the action sequence with the elves when they were fighting those undead creatures. I like that. My only major issue with that was it was a bit dark. The lighting for that scene was kind of made it hard to distinguish what was actually happening in certain areas, which was kind of annoying because I was like, I really want to see a bit more of this fight. I want to see how it's going. So that is a little bit of a downgrade when it came to that fight sequence, was the actual lighting itself. But that storyline, I really enjoyed. And then we obviously have Galadriel have that moment at the end there where she starts fighting the orcs to send everyone away with the ring so that they don't get captured and that the ring doesn't get into the wrong hands. So they take the ring, they go. Galadriel is fighting them, and then obviously J.R.R. comes, and now they've got a face-to-face. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. Obviously, we know she's not going to die because we've seen the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. So no one, that's kind of a bit of an anticlimactic sort of thing. But I'm interested to see how the conversation's going to go. So to me, I really, really enjoyed that stuff. And then we have the other elf as well that is, with that village. And obviously last episode we saw the kid get taken. And this is where we get introduced into the tree creatures again. So you remember them from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Well, they're in here as well. And it was great to see them on the screen as well. Bit of nostalgia there. Bit of like, oh, here we go. I remember these from that. So there was all that. There was a whole thing about that. We got introduced to some other creatures as well. Like this muddy sandworm sort of centipede looking creature thing. That was cool. So that was all great. I'm not thrilled about the storyline. But it is what it is. But easily the weakest part of this episode was the stranger and the Harefoots again. I honestly do not care for this storyline. I really don't. They have not made it interesting in any way, shape, or form. And that's sad, because this has been a story that's been going on, a plot thread that's been going on since Season 1. And it wasn't that great in Season 1. And then it picked up in the first 3 episodes, and you're kind of like, this just isn't doing it for me. And now we get to this one where the majority of it is about this storyline. It's uninteresting. It really is. Like, we have the Dark Wizard there, the Dark Lord Wizard there, that's trying to get them. The stranger meets another guy. Is like, oh, maybe I was meant to meet you, not, meet under the stars or whatnot. And then you have the Harefoots going in and seeing another village of like, not Harefoots, but another sort of like offshoot race of Hobbits, Harefoots, that sort of thing. And it's just not interesting. It really isn't. I'm just sitting there like, what is this storyline that's happening right now? Because I don't care for the stranger. I don't care for the Harefoots. What am I supposed to do with this storyline? I'm just sitting here watching this guy walk around the desert most of the time. This guy talk to some random guy about it. There's just nothing to grab onto regarding this storyline. And then, like, the whole thing, you're supposed to face Sauron and the Dark Lord. If they combine, you're supposed to face them together. It's like, okay, so is this Gandalf now? Are we talking about Gandalf? Is that who this guy is? I mean, or is he just some random wizard that's gonna die that we're not even gonna know about? Or is he one of the mysterious blue wizards? What's going on? Who is this guy? So they just haven't done enough to where I'm like, I really want to watch it. It's just that, and like we got no dwarves in here again, which is I think is one of the strongest points of the show is the whole dwarves and what's going on with them, and the Sauron stuff. We got no more Sauron in this episode. Like, I felt like that's a big thing that's happening. Those two storylines to me are the strongest storylines in this season so far. They're the two that I'm most interested in, and they were non-existent in this episode. So that kind of, it just... Look, I don't think this show is awful. I'll tell you that now. I don't think it's like one of the worst shows I've ever seen. It's a decent show. But some of the stuff that's just in it is just not compelling at all. Like, the Harefoot storyline is just like, whatever. And then the elf and the village people, it is what it is. Like, I just not interested. The elves themselves with Elrond and Galadriel, I find interesting. That was the most interesting part of this and the strongest part. But what I feel like Rings of Power is missing is those moments when... For instance, so when you have like a show like The Last of Us, House of Dragon, Shogun, Game of Thrones, when there's no action or anything like that, it's the conversations that carry the show. You can have two characters in one setting, in one room, just talk to each other, and it's compelling, it's interesting, you're dialed in the whole entire time, and you're like, wow, what a conversation that was, just from them speaking. The Rings of Power does not have that level of writing and does not have that level of captivating feeling about the show. Whenever they're talking, it doesn't feel like when in Lord of the Rings when they're talking to each other. That's what Lord of the Rings is. Whenever there's no action, the conversations is what carries it and makes it that extra level above the rest. Is just how they communicate with each other, where you're sitting there and you're like, damn, wow, that was some killer writing, and that just hit every single feeling possible. And this show just does not have that at this moment. There was glimpses in season 1 of that happening. There was a few in the early episodes, but in this episode, I didn't get any of that where I'm like, oh, that conversation, yes, that's the best part of this episode. I didn't get any of that. So I'm hoping as we progress throughout season 2 that we're going to get some more moments where the dialogue and that can actually carry the show more so than any of the action sequences in that. So, but look, episode 4 to me, I think is the weakest one so far. Fingers crossed, episode 5 is going to be better. We'll wait and see. But let me know what you guys thought. Maybe you guys loved this episode. Maybe you do like the Stranger storyline. Let me know down in the comment section below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.